The following is a special presentation of MTN, the Montana Television Network.
Thanks, you guys. I'll do one more song.
He's hailed as a Flathead music icon. With his witty songs
Always looking for funny.
and tons of talent. John Dunnigan is a crowd favorite wherever he plays.
It's hard not to have a good time.
And his incredible career scaled from the high notes to the low.
A total of about 20 days in the hospital.
This is the John Dunnigan story, humor and harmony. Hello, I'm Jill Valley, and thanks for joining us. For the next half hour, we're going to entertain you with the sounds and the stories of a popular Montana artist. His name is John Dunnigan, and for decades he's been drawing people to his one-man shows in Montana and across the country. People gravitate toward his incredible musical talent and the fact he is a really funny guy, so most people who go to one of his shows don't forget it. He's a true Montana treasure, and we thought you'd like to meet him.
I got a peaceful, easy free.
It is a warm and smoky summer evening in Whitefish, Montana.
And I know you won't let me.
The streets are filled with tourists and locals, strolling along the sidewalks looking for a meal or listening for music. They've come to the right place.
Good to see you here.
On this night,
I love that one.
they crowd into a back patio at the Craggy Range Bar and Grill.
That's what it was.
It's where 64-year-old John Dunnigan is tuning up for his bi-weekly show. He's considered by many the Jimmy Buffett of the Flathead Valley.
Called Wasted Away again in Margaritaville. You can sing along if you want, although it's the middle of the afternoon. Nobody does it. I don't care. Here we go.
Most of those here tonight
Some people claim that there's a woman to blame. We're all going to Disneyland. And I know.
are here to hear him.
It's my own dang fault.
He's just sincere and engages with the audience, so it's hard not to have a good time. And if we drink enough, we'll dance.
I kind of like some of the standards. I kind of like the blues. Like that one song that I requested was Start Me Up, the blues electric guitar. I kind of like that. But I mean, I like a lot of his original stuff, but I kind of like the old standards.
Goes like this.
Even the staff request the patio section when they know he's on stage that night.
I could be having the worst day of my life and I could come in and John could be working and he'll make it all better because not only does he give us amazing music, but he always makes us laugh.
He's just a funny guy. He has a huge personality and he involves everybody around him when he's singing and just makes it fun.
We're going to Mustang Ranch in Nevada.
He makes connections when he's on stage. Maybe it's just a glance or a smile or a tip of a glass.
This is the wagon wheel.
But
Goes
no
like this.
matter how crowded it gets in there, John makes people feel like he is there just to sing for
I
them.
gotta keep a move on before the sun.
John Dunnigan is a noteworthy player in a town well known for its musical talent.
Thanks, you guys. I'll do one more song.
He's a musician's musician. With his guitars and banjo and harmonica, combined with quick wit and humor.
I'm thinking one word next winter. One word. Arizona.
He's been a singer-songwriter before that was even a thing.
Here's. This is what I want to be. I want to be me, and I want to do this solo acoustic thing. But there wasn't that market for it like it is now. In fact, I don't know this for sure, but back in the early 80s, there was very few people doing what I do right now in the Flathead Valley. I mean, like none. Just nobody doing this. Everybody was in bands, maybe a few duos around, but not the solo guy. Now there's, oh my gosh, I bet in Whitefish there's 25 solo artists in this town right now.
But let's rewind a bit.
Did you grow up here? Like, where did you
No.
come from?
I grew up in a place called California.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. Northern California.
Okay, that's okay.
So I moved to Big Fork in 1976.
Okay. So you're grandfathered in,
Thank you.
right?
John grew up around guitars, so music was always a part of his life. But when he was 9 years old, something incredible happened to him. He saw the Beatles performing on the Ed Sullivan Show.
I was the guy in front of the Ed Sullivan Show that morning, watching the Beatles. I saw that, and it changed the world. The very next day, we had a little band called the Unbeatables. We didn't play, we didn't plug things in. We just, had gigantic, we were only 9 years old. Took guitar lessons in Sebastopol, California. My first song I learned was a Beatles song, All My Lovin', dun, 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 dun. Did that. And, but the Beatles music is really complicated. It's not like just playing a blues song or a rock and roll song. I mean, some of their stuff is more 3 chords, but their earlier songs, lots of chords, are very difficult to play and sing with all their harmonies and stuff. So it really weeded out the, oh, maybe we won't do that song. Maybe we'll try this other song. So it was kind of tough.
As a young man, John gravitated to the sounds of not just the Beatles, but of Simon and Garfunkel, Gordon Lightfoot, and James Taylor. He and some friends started a band called the Feather River Music Company. After a move to Big Fork, Montana, that band was then called Trout. They played gigs in Kalispell, St. Ignatius, and Ronan. They competed in the Battle of the Bands in Missoula in 1980. Then came the group called Lost in the Shuffle, with John performing with Ellie and Ty Nuno, musicians from Missoula. But before long, John decided to go it alone. So he hit the stage and never looked back. Now 4 CDs and a cassette later, he's a fixture in the Flathead for his own solo sound and style.
And I never made an album, you know, all the albums I have on my wall here. I played on some people's albums, played guitar and harmonica, whatever, on people's albums, but I never did like an album, like a 33 LP or something. I'm sure that's one of my agents calling about a gig somewhere.
Probably. Big bucket of money to give you. Yeah.
Probably the Mariah Carey show again, want me to do
you're
that
gonna open
thing.
for her
Yeah,
again?
yeah, whatever. I don't want to get into that now. But.
He's quick-witted in person.
Wow, you guys are so well behaved tonight. I just can't believe it.
And on stage, so fans never know quite what they're going to get at a John Dunnigan show.
You guys are hanging out with the heavyweights tonight, man.
But they interact with him like an old
So
friend,
quick, somebody put this in the back of my car so we don't...
cheering and laughing, dancing, yelling out requests.
So this is a Robin Ford song.
He puts his all into each performance, reading the crowd and giving them what they want.
Oh, I think they like the spontaneity of me and the fact that I don't ever have a song list. I never do the same. I do a lot of the same songs, as some of the bartenders can probably attest to, but I just let it go with wherever, you know, wherever the crowd wants to kind of go, I'll go. And sometimes it's, you know, it's me leading them, but quite often it's them leading me too, so I never know who's push and pull kind of deal. Thank you all very much. Wow, thanks you guys. What an unbelievably fun night, man.
John can play 1,000 different songs, probably more by his own estimation. So it's no wonder he's got something for everyone. But it was one song played one summer night in Whitefish that brought him face to face with one of the biggest names in music. It's a Thursday night in November at the famous Great Northern Bar and Grill in Whitefish, Montana. And singer-songwriter John Dunnigan has this post-Thanksgiving crowd in a very good mood. They gravitate to him because they can't help it. The crowd dances and sings along to the standards from Gordon Lightfoot or Marty Robbins. But the real gems come from John Dunnigan's own playlist.
I'm writing a song about that.
Witty, catchy tunes about the Flathead Valley real estate market.
I want a house on a hill with a view of a stream and a wild tame herd of elk.
Or the Ballad of the Three-Legged Man.
I also took his wooden leg.
There are dozens of them, and he finds the crowd knows the words and sings them right back at him.
How often are you writing? Are you looking for funny?
Always looking for funny, and as some of my fellow songwriters know, that's really hard to do. To write really funny songs with like gut-punching, laughing lines, it's really hard. I think that's the hardest. You know, I can write a song about the trees and the grasshoppers and the porcupines or whatever. That's pretty simple, but to write really funny material, oh my gosh, that's a real art.
He loves to make them laugh, of course, even though sometimes it's tough to be a funny guy in a crowded bar.
The bar is booby-trapped for not comedy, for just when you're gonna do your punchline, a drunk falls over or a big crowd of Canadian skiers walk in that very moment. So they don't really want to hear a funny story about my dog and his Frisbee. You know, they don't really care about that too much.
There really is a dog and a Frisbee. This is Archie.
He's just too crazy to take on a gig.
When John is home, he gets to relax a bit, enjoy life with his wife Andrea, maybe do a little fishing at his cabin in the woods.
Oh, off the ground.
In the summer, John plays local bars, county fairs, at events around Montana, or conventions all around the country. He's played with REO Speedwagon and Charlie Daniels. But his most famous story brought him face to face with none other than Bruce Springsteen, who was in Whitefish one August night in 1996 for a friend's wedding.
Well, I'm in the lounge playing, and no one's paying much attention, and all of a sudden in the back door comes Springsteen and his little entourage, and it just was the most mind-boggling thing ever. So I had been working on one of his songs, and I was looking around, no one was looking, and I was looking around for the lyrics to this song called Youngstown. The song was called Youngstown.
Dear darling in Youngstown.
Amazing song, and I had learned it, and I was looking around for the lyrics because I thought, it's kind of unlike me to do this, but I thought, I'm just going to do this song right in front of him. And Jill, I swear, so he's sitting at the edge of the bar, like 30 feet away, he's having a drink, and I launch into the dung dung dung, and he goes like this, just like that. And he didn't take his eyes off me for like 4 minutes and 18 seconds, and I got all the words right. It blew my mind. I don't think anyone in the crowd knew that he was at the bar or that was a Springsteen song. I didn't say, like, ladies and gentlemen, there's Bruce. I didn't do that. And as soon as I finished it, he gets up from his chair and starts walking right up towards me. And yeah, he walked right up to me and put his hand out, and he looked around and he goes, how did you do that? How did you just play that song? He goes, you don't have any words, you don't have a teleprompter? And I'm like this, closer than this. He's like, and I said, I love that song. And he goes, and he said some really amazingly complimentary things, which I won't say because it's too much. But he said, that was great. And he said, are you going to come play with me tonight? And I said, yeah, I'm going to come play harmonica with you. I played like 5 or 6 songs with Springsteen. And he was just the most amazing thing ever. He was the nicest human being to walk the planet.
Dear darling in Youngstown.
But what John didn't realize is he was going to have to pull off another amazing feat years later, when years of drinking his favorite tequila finally caught up with him. How the Whitefish community responded in something called Dunnigan Fest. Coming up next. John Dunnigan is a household name in the Flathead Valley music scene. He's even listed among the people who shaped the Whitefish community. He's in this book, Portrait of Whitefish. He's so beloved, in 2013 he was famously roasted, but also celebrated. People teased him, but also toasted their talented friend. Before 2015, John shared the stage with his guitars, his banjo, his harmonica, and his mistress, Patron Tequila.
I would be playing and have 15 shots of tequila lined up in front of me. And I would drink them.
The tequila was part of his show. The crowd generally tipped back a few shots with him. Part of a musician's world in a way.
And it was really fun. I did it for part of my show. I can remember heading into these bars, like I say on Winter Carnival night, just going, oh my gosh, so I had my banjo, I had my electric, had my acoustic, had my funny songs, and I had my shots of tequila. When I couldn't quite turn the crowd around towards me, let's go you guys, come on, let's get some tequila going, and I could get them that way.
Patron even sponsored him, such a fan he was of the drink. Until January 26, 2015. John woke up the morning after a show in what he calls mind-boggling pain.
I thought it was indigestion, and to make a huge story longer, the next thing I know, my wife and I are driving to the Whitefish Hospital, which is just really a mile away, at 5 o'clock in the morning. And the next morning they ambulanced me to Kalispell, and I stayed there for a total of about 20 days in the hospital.
It was pancreatitis, a life-threatening disease likely brought on by the drinking. And while John recovered, Whitefish organized what would be known as Dunnigan Fest, a huge citywide benefit that at first he rejected until a friend convinced him to let people help.
My buddy David Griffith, who is a phenomenal musician who's had some health issues, he's the one who talked me into doing this benefit because I didn't want to do it. I said, no, I don't want to do this. It's too embarrassing, you know. And he had one for him, and he goes, people really want to put this somewhere. They want to help. You need to let them do this. Not only was the money there, it was just the emotional thing. I mean, I was sitting here at the house and somebody called and said, there's lines all the way around the block. It's sold out. You can't even get in. And they basically closed the whole town of Whitefish down. Every bar had a little venue. All my friends played for free, of course. And the money that they raised in there, a certain percentage went to the fund. And it was unbelievable.
How humbling.
How humbling. Yeah.
Did you cry? I would cry.
Yeah, I don't know if I just
Touched.
Broke down and cried, but it was, I probably did. Yeah, it was really emotional. It was fantastic.
John hasn't had a drink in years, and his story has inspired others to stop drinking as well. I asked him if his shows have changed any without his beloved Patron by his side.
I think my guitar playing is more spot on, my singing is better, more focused, more, yeah, you see things really different when you're not, you know, when you haven't just slammed down 15 tequilas. And I'm not a real big guy, and I would drink that much, so I think it's better. Like I say, it was really fun to do that, to get that little buzz and play. Like, again, not to categorize all musicians that do that, but that's a musical thing. You know, you're in this atmosphere, and you know, if you can't beat them, join them, kind of thing. And I did that. I was the ringleader. I would lead these guys through, you know, or they would lead me through. I don't know how it went, but oh my gosh, it was crazy. So it was a little unnerving the first couple of times I played. Like, man, how is this going to work out? You know, and it's fine. I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all.
Still ahead, the rigors of the road, a talented son, and the future for this popular performer.
So I just put my guitars away, leave it, come back in the morning.
Life as a solo artist.
It's not the right one. And now they're all kind of tangled up.
Isn't always an easy one. On this day, singer-songwriter John Dunnigan has his pickup truck loaded with his instruments and amps.
This is the fun part of the job.
And is getting his stage set up hours before the show for a sound check that he'll do himself. He doesn't have a manager, really, or an assistant. So hitting the road, no matter how far from home, is always a labor of love.
It's the quickest sound check in the history of the world, you guys.
How many instruments do you play?
Well, when I go to a gig, probably 4. I play 4. I take 4 instruments with me, which is enough. Because that's, as you know, the back of my Toyota pickup is just packed. I'm going to the Great Northern tonight, and so I'll play, 2 or 3 different guitars, and I'll play banjo, and I'll play harmonica, and that keeps me pretty busy on stage there.
And when people want to hear a song or his banjo, they'll simply ask him.
Good one, man. See, I forget. I know so many songs, I forget what I know.
Even if he's in the middle of a set. Fortunately, you can enjoy his music digitally, too. He has his own Pandora channel. John's on iTunes and Spotify, YouTube, and the other music sharing sites. He doesn't make a lot of money doing what he loves, but his tip jar is often filled to the brim after a night on stage. It's more about the music than the money anyway. So how'd he get so good at this? Talent, a work ethic, and the Beatles.
I had this work attitude, because I just worked all the time. I worked on a dairy, and I worked on a farm, and I worked cutting trees down in Northern California. So I really had that work,
Ethic.
Yeah, ethic in me. And I think it helped out for music, because I practiced a lot and played, and I knew you had to, again, back to the Beatles, those guys, the 10,000 hour rule, where they spent, while the other bands were partying, and I mean, the Beatles partied for sure, but they spent time. And you can hear it in their music. I think they're in a league of their own when it comes to their harmonies, their arrangements, and their writings, their melodies, their lyrics. They're just so out there because they spent time doing it.
Turns out he's not the only star in the family. His son, Andy Dunnigan, plays with the very well-known Little Smokies Bluegrass Band.
And then over here is my son and I playing Big Smokey and Little Smokey.
And his inspiration came one night in front of the TV.
He obviously hung around the house with all my guitars and everything and heard the musical stories and he got into it. It was kind of surprised my wife and I. It kind of surprised us. We rented the movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And we thought, oh, you know, the kids are going to just disappear. They're not going to watch this. Well, I think Andy was taking notes. And when we got done with that movie, we actually watched it downstairs here. The next thing I know, he has downloaded all these bluegrass songs from Napster, probably illegal. These Alison Krauss songs and Ricky Skaggs and Earl Scruggs. And suddenly the Britney Spears posters and the rap stuff, which he was into back in the days, was out the window into the garbage. I'm not making this up. I mean, it was like that.
Do you see the similarity about you watching the Beatles and then watching a movie?
Oh,
and that inspired both of you?
I never thought about that until right now.
I asked him about his favorite song. He told me, Quarter Horse.
Come see me ride, Papa. This is my day.
It's also one of his most requested tunes.
I got a brand new horse. He wants to play.
And that's a complete song of mine. I think it worked out really, really well. That covers everything and it's all crunched into 3 minutes and 18 seconds, whatever. I don't know how long it is, but that's one of my favorite songs.
The Quarter Horse.
Yeah, it's on the cartoon CD. Available on
Wherever
iTunes?
you can get it.
Yeah, wherever you can get them, wherever they sell fine automotive products. I don't. The Quarter Horse song. Thanks, you guys. Thank you very much.
Do you like what you do? Do you like this?
I love it.
You do?
I love it.
But you have loading up stuff and you're traveling all over the state.
I get tired of that. Really tired of that.
Yeah.
About this time, this is funny. You guys are here. I get really tired this time of the year because I've worked a lot all summer, and I have been gone, and I have about 3 more trips to go on. These little I go to Helena tomorrow to play, which is just a one-day thing. Then back to Kalispell Saturday night. But then I go to Billings for a week, and then I'm on the road. Like I think I mentioned, I'm going to start off in Billings and Miles City and Glasgow and Great Falls and doing one-nighters, and that's really hard to do.
And I'm gone to Carolina in my mind.
What's next for you? Going to do this until you die on stage, or what do you think?
I think my little line is I will do this until people stop calling me. And at my age, I'm really blown away that they still call me. I had no idea I'd be this age, 42, and they would still be calling me. That is
Wow.
that is unbelievable. No, because when you're really young, I'm not making this up. In that band I talked about, the Feather River Band, I can remember us guys sitting around. We were 25 years old, and we said, okay, if we haven't made it, this is a quote, if we haven't made it by the time we're 30, we're going to quit. We're giving up. I mean, how can you play when you're, 37 years old or whatever?
It's ancient, right?
Ancient. And now I look at all these guys, the Stones and James Taylor and Paul McCartney, they're in their sometimes late 70s, Willie Nelson in his 80s, and they're still just sharp and making great music. And so it just depends on how long you want to do it, I guess, really.
Country roads take me home to the place that I belong, West Virginia.
John Dunnigan, a man inspired by the great singers and songwriters, became one himself. A musician who loves what he does and shares it with us. And as long as he has a song in his heart, so will we.
How about that right there, ladies and gentlemen? Didn't the entire world feel like we were all here singing at the same song? And it was just amazing.
You can learn more about John Dunnigan and get his concert schedule by going to johndunnigan.com. You can also find him on Facebook. I'm Jill Valley, and thanks for watching.
I got a brand new horse, and he wants to play. Come see me riding, Papa. It's here I wanna stay. I wanna ride so high, I'll fly away. I wanna ride so high, we'll fly away.